Getting really close to being able to fire this thing up. Out here in the shop with the carburetors. Let's clean them up and get them all ready to go, baby. All right, here we go. Over here on the workbench, we've got the carbs hanging out, looking good. I've got carburetor kits, plural. The primary thing that I want out of here is the rubber parts, like the O-rings and the float bowl gaskets, because, you know, that's the stuff that actually goes bad. The brass is, you know, cheap replica stuff that you don't really want to use. But I'm gonna get those guys put together, and then we'll be one step closer to firing this bad boy up. Alright, let's get these carbs apart and see what they look like on the inside. I'm not gonna take them off of the rack, I'm just gonna take them apart so I can replace the rubber stuff, because that's the important part. I'm gonna take the bowls off, and this fuel line will get replaced. Where's my good buddy? There it is. Let's take these caps off first. I don't remember if there's any kind of O-rings up here that need to be replaced. Spring. Needle wiggles around just fine. I think we're okay. Alright, let's call that good. I'll open up the other one just to make sure it's okay. Pretty proud of the previous owners of this particular set of carburetors. They didn't booger up the screws on it, as best I can tell so far. Oh, it's so dark you can't see. It's clean, I promise. I mean, it's not clean, but there's no stuff in there that's gonna make it not work. A little bit of varnish fuel on the slide, but moves real smooth. Alright, now for the important part, the bowls. The bowls. Get a little pot to put the screws in. So far so good. No stuck screws. And that's already loose. Wow, okay. Hey, you know, that doesn't look half bad. It looks like they drained the fuel out of there before they put these away. That was nice of them. See if the tubes are cracked. Overflow tubes, I should say. So yeah, that's a thing. I don't know. You probably already know if you're watching this because you're already into bikes. These overflow tubes in these Cayenne carbs, Cayenne, however you pronounce it, whatever, Cayenne. The overflow tubes are made of brass, and over time they can like crack. They'll develop little like hairline cracks along the length of them, and they will leak. So if you get your carbs put back together and you've got a little drippy drip coming out of here, and you're like, oh man, I did everything perfectly, there's no way that these are leaking. Check that. Check their tubes. I mean, for reals though, like, there's nothing in here. There's like a little bit of crud in the bowl, and that's, I mean, that's, it's not 100%, but that's pretty respectable, I think, for like 10 seconds of fiddling. That'll knock the crud off of there. All right. Very good. I got a touch of carburetor cleaner left. Just give a little shot of that. Very nice. All right. See if the fluid will come out of there. Okay. Oh, heck yeah, dude. One thing I am going to do here with the seats for the float needles, I'm going to polish them, because that is always a good idea. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to use some regular old cotton swabs and just a touch of metal polish. And you just need like just a dab, like just get a little dab on there. Cool. Then what you want to do is chuck it up in a drill. And then you're just gonna plunge it right in there. It immediately turned that Q-tip black. It's because it's brass, for one thing, but it's also dingy in there. Then you want to get your clean side and just kind of swab it out. And what you'll be left with is a nice, shiny, clean needle seat for your float needle. And that way, you know it's not going to be sticking in there while your float is working up and down. If it's looking dingy, you can take some of your polish and go at the sides of your float needle. But these guys are shined up nice, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, if you're cleaning carbs on your bike and you're having issues with fuel delivery, check your float needles and float seats, needle seats for the floats. Floaty seedle needle fleetles. Perfect. Now, I think it's about time to close this back up. Get a new float bowl gasket in here. Get those puppies snug. All right, now, so these dudes have an idle mixture screw right here. And what you should find at the base of your idle mixture screw, a spring and a tiny washer. Now I gotta get tiny O-ring loose. She's loose. Let's get her out of there. Hey, success. All right. Tiny O-ring is out. Tiny washer is out. Old spring is out. Gonna shoot a little bit of carb cleaner down in there just to make sure it's nice and clean. Give it a little squirt of air. Looking good. Now we can put the new stuff in. First up is teeny tiny little O-ring. Drop it in there. Okay. Tiny washer. Bombs away. Why is this magnetic? Okay, there it goes. And finally, compare. This new spring is a little bit shorter than the old spring. I think I'm going to use the old spring because it's probably just fine. All right, so drop that in there. And cleaned up our needle. Drop that in there. And we'll turn it until it just touches the bottom. And it was slightly over 1.5 turns out. So there's the bottom. When it touches the bottom, you stop. Don't go any further. Then turn it out to where it was before. Just to start. That's 1/2 turn, 1 turn, 1.5 turns, and just a smidge over that. All right. Now let's get this other one. Pretty clean, not too bad. Perfect. Nice and patinaed. All right, drop that bad boy down in there. Tighten her down till she hits the bottom. From bottom, I'm gonna start with 1/2, 1, 1.5. That's gonna be our baseline, because that's what it was on this side, and that was the one I did first, and that is arbitrary nonsense. All right, now before I take the other float bowl out, let's get this drain screw out of here. Ha ha, turned like nothing. And replace that O-ring. And clean this up a little bit. It's got a little bit of schmutz on it. I'm sure that you can see that great, and the lighting is perfect. Cool, cool, cool. Looking good. Now this, the head on this drain screw is a little bit boogered, but I've seen much, much worse. I've done much, much worse. I don't think that there's going to be any issues. Now let's get a pick and pick this old O-ring off. Oh yeah, that's probably the OG. Now, get one of these new ones. Oh yeah, check that out. That's perfect. Nice and dark so you can't see. Where's my flashlight? That's much better. I'm just gonna put a dab of oil on here. Dab. To make sure that it's lubed. Run this one back down into its hole. Perfect. Now I'll go ahead and grab the other one while I'm thinking about it. This is absolutely the original O-ring, no doubt about it. Just crumbling away. There we go. Now let's open up this float bowl, see what it looks like. Alright, so yeah, once again, crusty gasket, but look at that. I mean, there's just like some gritty stuff, but it seems fine. No perceivable cracks in the overflow tube either. Kind of looks like somebody put epoxy on this or something. Definitely some kind of glue on this gasket. Cool. All right, that's the big stuff. Now let's get these accelerator pumps fixed up. I'm just going to replace these little diaphragms. I'm sure that the spring is just fine, looks fine. Yeah, starting to get some holes in it. Right, new diaphragm. Lay that in there. Spring seems good. I'll reuse it. show you what I was talking about here with this diaphragm. It's got some little creases in it. And those creases, whoop, those creases are actually making holes in the rubber all the way around the diaphragm. So this guy probably wasn't working at all. But now it's got a nice fresh new diaphragm in it, ready to rumble. Somebody just drove by very fast. You know what? While I had that second carburetor bowl apart, I did not put the rubber plug back in it. Oops. Yeah, same deal here. This diaphragm is knackered. Got a little O-ring here. Replace that. Or drop it. You know, either way. There it goes. Alright. Try again. There we go. Alright. New O-ring. New diaphragm. I didn't see an O-ring in this one. I'm going to open it back up. You know, I bet there's a torque spec for these. Yep, sure enough. No O-ring. Plop. Fixed. Who knows how that would have presented. Probably would have been running all kinds of weird. Alright. Back to these. Let's get that rubber plug put in that I forgot like a dingus. Perfect. Cool. Now, got that guy, got that guy. Got those guys. Got those guys. I think we're in pretty good shape. Let's see what the slides do. Oh yeah. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, that's a functional set of carburetors ready to dump some fuel into and test out. That's a completed set of carburetors ready to rumble. Won't be long now. We'll have this bad boy fired up. Let's go! Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Yeah, what's that? Hi. Hey. So anyway, It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm out here in the garage, hanging out, doing my thing. Yeah. So, I don't think that anybody would argue with you if you told them that the carburetors are... No.